What else am I to do when I discover there is a festival called Autumns at Oz, where a defunct theme park is open once a year for a little over a month for people to go in and peruse the glory that is this 1970s theme park based on Wizard of Oz? The answer is go to it. Yes, I'm so glad you filled in the blank. Excellent work. Good job, detective. So that's what I'm doing today, except I also checked their policies and costumes are allowed. So we're going to be making a Dorothy dress for me today. And today's video is brought to you by Merit Beauty, but more on them in a little bit. But because I don't know any other way than to be extra, I of course also then realized that there is a Wizard of Oz museum about 90 minutes away from where I live. And they said I could see the dress up close. So let's head out to Cape Canaveral and go check out the Wizard of Oz Museum. The museum is tucked away just south of the port of Cape Canaveral, and it is definitely what I would call an off-the-beaten-trail kind of attraction. Tucked away behind some trees lies a small blue-roofed building with a giant ruby slipper, even too big for my foot. I think it would fit me. These, sadly, would not fit me, but they're so pretty. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. Our fancy men and our fancy top hats. The stuff of nightmares. I feel like we just found Dr. Eggman, but if he got dyed in a leprechaun bath. Huh? Magically delicious! I don't know how I feel about that. Wizards and witches from the beyond. Oh, my knees hurt now. And I'm lucky enough they're gonna open the case for me so that I can stare at this and make something. You guys, you can see where they changed the buttons. Look, they had to move the buttons. Let the nerding out begin!
You know about a hidden pocket?
No!
Yeah, you can see it's really old, it's faded, but inside it's...
Yeah,
like
that's the real color. Let's see. Too purple. Needs to go darker. Okay. What am I gonna do about that? I have no idea. Don't know. Never fear, dear viewer. She will eventually figure out a plan. And everything is top stitched, so it's gonna be so much nicer.
Actually, the history up to 50th anniversary of the movie.
Then after fully exploring the museum portion of the experience, it was time for the immersive room. I guess it's time to go in and see what havoc we can wreak. And while I will not spoil the surprise of the entire immersive event, especially since they will be relocating soon to a Central Florida location, I will say that while most of the projections were very enjoyable, "Good sir, can I talk to you about your car insurance? Are you sure it's not out of warranty?" I do advise if you get motion sick, you use one of the handy benches during the James Webb Telescope section, because even me, a person that does not get motion sick, was a little off-kilter. He dances like me, hell yeah! Arms up, looking silly. And with the final projection being just as loud as the dress that I had on my body, let's go make me a dress. But before we get diving into making the dress, let's go ahead and prep my face for a day of sewing. Now, even if I prep myself just a little bit before I start my day, I kind of have a bit more motivation to keep going. And that's where today's sponsor, Merit Beauty, comes into play because I am not one to put on a whole bunch of makeup to look like I have makeup on. The only time I really like to show that I have makeup on is when I wear lipstick and a little bit of blush, which this is why this partnership is perfect because they have a lovely set of cream lipsticks and Flush Balm that actually is sort of like one of those old school chapsticks but for your cheeks. Super awesome and fun to apply. And they are vegan, cruelty-free, and non-comedogenic products. So let's dive into prepping my face for my sewing day. Now, I did already go ahead and put my serum on because I always do that just after I do a shower, which because I didn't have my microphone attached to my towel, here is me putting it on. It is very light and smooth. You do get to do a fun little shaky, 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 shaky before you go ahead and apply it. Then 2 pumps into your hand and Bob's your uncle, no, not that Bob, and you have a lovely glowing skin tone. Now, I am a mother and I don't get enough sleep. So these bags, they for free all day long, no checking needed. I am a little self-conscious about them some days, but that is where Merit's Minimalist comes into play because this lovely product, super easy to apply. You can see there, fun little nubby application. And then all I have to do, couple of swipes under the eyes, doot, doot, doot. And look at that, already they look more like carry-on than checked bags. Excellent. And so with my concealer applied, next up is going to be the Flush Balm. Like I said, cute little like old school chapstick thing. The nice thing about this, again, you just kind of go swipey and swipey, just to sort of get some lines happening there. And then I just like feather it out. Boop, 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 boop. And there you go. Look at that, just a nice little flush on the cheeks. Nothing too crazy town there for ya. And of course, my channel would not be complete without a lip moment, where I have Merit's signature lip in the color Vermilion. Nice creme lipstick, creme, cream, unclear. I can't see what I'm doing. Sorry folks, I can't see what I'm doing without my glasses on, so had to step off camera there. But, I mean, look, like, we love the nice gentle red. This is more for my days when I want to put on makeup, but I don't necessarily want to do like the brightest and of the most harsh reds. And if you would like to take home these products or more, you can go to my link down in the description and get 15% off of my signature bundle that you saw here today. And there are 2 little bonuses for you. On your very first order with Merit, you will always get the free signature bag. That way you have a nice holding spot for all of your fun Merit goodies. This one right here. And every order that is $40 or more gets free shipping. And I do want to thank Merit for sponsoring today's video. But now, let's head over to sew the dress. And we're back, ready to procrastinate, I mean do the thing. So, while I would love to absolutely just use whatever costume pattern I have lying around and adjust it to adult size, that is not possible. So what I have done indeed is taken a really glorious 1940s pattern, traced it out so that it looks like this. See, no waist. Because the skirt is a much more full, gathered, more A-line skirt, so I can make up that by winging it, so I'm not worried about that. However, this part, I can't wing that, so what I had to do was make a mock-up. What? That's right, this sad looking thing is indeed a mock-up, where we learned so many things, and honestly, I'll give it to you. When you're making a costume, mock-ups are actually necessary. Now, unfortunately, I don't know what I'll do with this afterwards, but that's a hill for another day to die on. Enough procrastinating, because I now have my pattern, my mock-up, and a general idea of what I am looking at, because man, that trip to the museum was super useful. Let's dive in to cutting this out. Oh, and I'm absolutely not saying that I didn't completely procrastinate and make my daughter an entirely different dress that is vaguely resembled to Dorothy so that she can have one too. Okay, bye, let's go. So I found this beautiful 1950s cotton gingham on eBay, but unfortunately it came with several large sections of chicken scratch embroidery. No, not that kind. It's a style of embroidery where you use your threads to go through sections of the gingham to create a design. However, since I am all about using the vintage that you can find, that meant I had to undo someone else's work. And yes, my soul died a little bit as I did it, don't you worry. Then it was time to carefully place my pattern pieces, as I only had 4.5 yards of 34-inch wide fabric to make this dress. Okay, listen, there's some days I'm just thankful I remember to put in the extra seam allowance, where I tell myself I'm going to put in the extra seam allowance without actually writing it on the pattern piece, which, yes, that was absolutely dicey. 0 out of 10, always write it down. I did it, I cut the thing, oh good. Now let's go ahead and put these all together, because I would just rather have this portion done, because cutting all of that bias is truly my absolute nightmare. But that is all right, because we're going to have ourselves a Dorothy dress.
Yep, 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 yep.
Hello. It's not perfect. It's not perfect, but it looks pretty good actually. Oh, look at that beautifulness. Oh, I did it on both sides, you guys. Oh, small wins. That was the hard part, was getting this to vaguely look like what it's supposed to. Now, are there many, many, many other steps? Absolutely there are, but I feel like this took a lot of anxiety out of the rest of this project for me. So I guess there's nothing to it than to just, keep on a-cutting. And let's put a skirt together, y'all. And then she made a questionable life decision. Dear viewer, see here where she chooses to cut along the fold before truing the grain. The true embodiment of chaos in this one. Okay, listen, I know it's not going to be movie accurate, but the problem is because I found true vintage fabric that is only 34-inch wide across total, and my waist currently is sitting between like a 42 to 44, I actually don't want to cut down to an A-line on this at all. I know it's not going to be movie accurate, it's going to be slightly too poofy at the top, but I don't care. Because the sweep is going to be so little, it's going to drive me nuts, but I can't really fix that unless I was willing to put in extra skirt pieces, which I'm not. So we're just gonna leave it as is, add some gathering stitches, add some pockets because Judy had pockets and I have proof. That's what's on the docket next then. It's fine, it's just a costume.
Don't be ridiculous.
And then she thunk and thunk and thunk some more before she decided to do the unthinkable. This is gonna be dicey. She would indeed use one more yard of fabric for the skirt front. Dear viewer, look on as we see the frazzled sewist about to make a grave error and not realize it until it is far too late. Let this be a lesson to all of you at home that when you are dealing with damaged or marked fabric that you're trying to hide, don't rush through this process. I feel like these skirt pieces are a good representation of the meme of final product versus the prep work. And thusly I moved forward in innocent bliss as to what I was about to realize. Y'all, I was trying to do this cool transition. I was gonna go lay out the skirt and put it on the floor and then do a little snappy hoo and be like, lucky, it's all together. And then I realized I cut the skirt wrong. I cut the extra front panel of the skirt wrong. So no matter what I do, 1/2 of that chicken scratch frickin' pencil is gonna be visible. I'm not happy right now because I can't sacrifice another yard of this fabric. I cannot do it. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to now scrub 1/2 of this skirt really well. Everywhere else I've remembered and put all the chicken scratch on the inside because I don't care if it's on the inside. Don't care, it's pencil. But yeah, cool. So I'm gonna sew the other half of this pocket, probably cry a little, do a transition, and then I'll see you when I see you. Good morning, everyone. It is day 2 solidly of working on the Dorothy dress, and not bad. We have a base dress. It looks boring as crap because, well, it doesn't have all the fun stuff yet. So the downside is that this right here is about as tall as from the floor to my shoulder, so it's about 1.5 yards. I hate to tell you, but anyone who's ever cut a bias strip knows that ain't much. I will piece the crap out of this thing, but I really think that I will be lucky to get the straps, the trim across the top, and the trim at the waist. Pretty sure that's probably all we're gonna get. I am hot garbage at using a roller tracing wheel thing. That's not the word for it. What's it called? Rotary cutter, Tina for the win! I just forgot what that's called. A rotary cutter. So I suck at using them. Also, all of mine are gross and awful. One of them was falling apart and the other one was my mother's. And I'm pretty sure the blade was my mother's. I'm just gonna let you fill in the blanks there. So Tina has brought all 3 of hers and she is going to be doing the bias cut because who else to do a bias cut then? That's right, a quilter. Yes, don't have the dress garment person do this. No, I'm gonna call in my phone a friend card and Tina's gonna help me out with that while I attempt to figure out this blouse situation. And while slowly realizing that I had to put together the entire other view of the blouse pattern instead of the one that was already ready to go, I was also beginning the mental gymnastics on how I was going to make the gathered front section of the blouse from this. This is what happens when you don't keep the layout sheet next to you, friends. Always keep the PDF layout sheet next to you. Because just because you think you know what you're doing doesn't mean you actually do. Oh, well, that can't be right. Oh. Nope, still can't be right. That looks like a blouse. I'm so good at doing PDF patterns, you guys. I don't know what you're talking about. Ta-da! And then it was on to the gathering section. So here's what you just saw. I decided to flay the internals of this pattern piece like the bowels of my enemies. Too intense for a Dorothy cosplay? Got it. So either way, I decided because all of those gathers need to be at the neck, I needed to fan out the neckline, and then I could close in the side darts because at that point, all the fullness is going to be up here and I'm not going to need to worry about it. Also, it's a costume bodice, so it's gonna be fine. So I did that, and then I went to the back piece, which all I had to do was just, you know, do the standard, make it bigger, cause me, and I love vintage patterns that aren't my size. So I did all that, and then I measured my bicep to make sure that it wouldn't be too tight as a cuff up there, and I measured my neck, where I would feel comfortable with where and how much fabric, because I'm not normally one that likes a neck thing up through here, so I wanted to make sure that when I measured it, I gave myself a little bit of room so that the collar doesn't rub and make me irritated all day long. But I now have to go cut everything out because it doesn't do it itself. And then my machine yelled at me. What? So I obeyed its Windows XP instructions and cleaned out the lint from my feed dogs. And then it was time to sew. Welcome to day number 3, where we learned an important lesson about Stephanie. I do not do things that I say I will do in the time frame that I say I will do them in, most of the time. Now, that all being to say, I did not touch this pinafore at all yesterday. Once I said, I'm gonna do the pinafore. Nope. No, I didn't. Not even a little. What I did do was I put together the blouse so that I could actually see if I had to start from scratch again, which thankfully I did not. The blouse actually, I think at this point I have committed to knowing that this is blouse version 1, so it's also never going to be the final. It was a tester run for all of the things that I was trying. But yes, so this morning I kind of fiddled around with all the little scrap bias pieces to see what I could get away with, because I wasn't 100% sure that I could actually do the skirt bias. I can. I'm very excited. But let's get in to actually sewing down all of the pieces and getting this pinafore Dorothy ready. Quick tip of the day. If you are piecing together 2 pieces of bias, I always advise going at a right angle to one another, sewing a diagonal along the straight line, and then pressing it flat. This allows it to move better with the garment and gives a cleaner line. So what I was doing is I was basting all of the work, all the pins that I had put in earlier because I really liked the length of it, the bodice. So it actually shortened everything by about 1 inch instead of the 5/8 inch that would have gone into just the pattern. But unfortunately that does mean now I need to trim out this extra little flappy right here and then do a little quick rolled hem so that way I'm finishing off this inside. But I'm gonna leave the basting stitches, I think probably, I'm just gonna leave them because I'm gonna top stitch the decorations over top, both the top and the bottom. So they're just gonna be in there, it's no big deal. So let's trim down and then do a quick little rolled hem. Yes, I know I just said that I hated rolled hems on this channel, but here we are. Why aren't you recording? Cool! Sorry for the crappy audio. With that sewn up, it is time to do the straps. And so I had a moment where I was like, oh, am I gonna do these right? Because I was about to sew them straight across. Nope. Looked at the photo, glad I did. Yeah, hers have a little point down at the bottom. So with my strap that the wonderful Tina has ironed for me, I am going to make a little point, and then I'm gonna sew that down, and then we're going to pin it onto me once everything's ready to go tomorrow. Because these, while I'm prepping these are like the last thing that go on because all the other trim has to go on first. But let's make some points and do all the top stitching down. And now I give you the epic battle between the quilter and the garment sewist. When making straps, garment maker, 1. While the quilter folds it like it's a bias strip going over the edge of a quilt, the sewist knows you cannot sew down your straps like that. Quilter, 1. When making the top bias, you absolutely can wrap it like it's a quilt. Don't make it weird. Do you want some scritches? No. Lots of scritches. Oh my goodness. Rars. Take it to boy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I got him. Hi. Enjoy this moody, stormy lighting. Okay, so I got all the top done, right? I forgot that if I don't put the zipper in first, then I can't do all the top stitching around the edges because I won't be able to cleanly like get in there, and it would be super bulky to try and get that zipper over. So I have to go do the zipper now as opposed to, you know, in like later on today. So, and believe it or not, it's only like 4:45. It's just rainy. And then I somehow managed to not have a 14-inch zipper. Don't ask me how. So I went to my stock and I have these two. So let's see which one of these works. Oh God. I don't know if I like either of those options. Well, that one would blend better. Yeah, let's go with that one. Welcome to day number 4. No, I didn't think it would take this long either. That makes 2 of us. And yes, I'm re-wearing the same dress because I like to re-wear my clothes. Anyway, I have too much to do and not enough time to do it in, so here's a short but not complete list of everything that I have to do today. Number 1, I have to finish putting the trim on the waistline and the bottom of the skirt. Skirt needs to be hemmed. Then we have to go and tack all the trim along the neckline, sew down said trim. Oh yeah, and put collar, cuffs, and closures on the freaking blouse. So I should probably stop talking and get working. Listen to me and listen to me well. When you're sewing a bias strip, it sucks. Don't do it the way that I just did it, which was in one long piece. Make it in 3 sections, hide it under the strap. Okay, I'm really annoyed right now. It's fine, we're just gonna get it done. Boob shot! Okay, listen. it's only dumb if it doesn't work. What I remember is that with this bias crap curling on me, and I really don't want curled straps, really don't, I figured I would try toilet paper to lessen the friction between my presser foot and my bias cut fabric. Hello, Marshmallow. Sir, I do not need a marshmallow man. Thank you so much. Sir. Oh my goodness. Okay, come on. Come in the explanation. What I'm doing is I'm sewing with layered toilet paper. It's supposed to be like tissue paper or receipt paper or stuff that pulls away easily. Is this going to work? I don't know, but we're gonna try.
A few moments later.
Now we have done it. The one thing I will say, looking at the other side, I'm very pleased. Now, is this gonna come off? Well, I don't know. Let's find out, shall we? Here we go. Okay. That's what I get for using 2-ply. Okay, so that only passively worked. It'll come off in the first wash. Okay, so not the best hack, but listen, it's like, it's fine. We'll get it off enough to the point that I won't be walking around with toilet paper on. Y'all, get yourselves an assistant like Tina. Because look at this commitment to tearing the toilet paper out of the stitches.
It's snowing.
Then it was on to a very nerve-wracking section of basting down the rickrack so that it would pop through the collar the way that Judy's does. I was not okay with this. All right, now, Stitch in the Ditch is done. So the top, she looks so pretty. She looks so pretty. Let's see how the underside looks. Did I only miss one 1-inch section? Oh, best Stitch in the Ditch ever. Winning. So that's the collar on this. And honestly, y'all, there's just a couple more things. It's all the same vague steps. I'm doing snaps in the back because that's what Judy had, and if it's good enough for Judy, then it's good enough for me. I do believe it's time to hit the yellow brick road. Toto, I don't think we're in Florida anymore. She is done. And wow, I can't describe enough how freaking, one, proud of myself I am. Like, not here to toot my own horn usually, but toot toot baby. This thing, very proud of it. Now, is it perfect? No. This blouse is very much version 1, okay? We're fine with that though, because it was on my body to go up the mountain. It's fine. But I'm so freaking happy with how this turned out. I love the little ribbons. I love like all the little stuff that I did that I don't usually do for reveals because, let's be real, I like to just work on the clothing and to the styling. But okay, this is one for styling, cause like, hi, I wore heels to Autumn's at Oz for 4 hours. You want to know how often I wear heels? I don't. So yes, Dorothy is done. And you know what? Even if I were just to wear this to a Comic-Con, I'd still be pretty daggone proud. I will fix whatever this is. Because I don't know how Listen, it was a super comfy neckline. Not saying it's not, but it's supposed to be here. Here? There. That's where it's supposed to be. So this is version 1, and it's lovely, and I love it. And the dress is not version 1. The dress, as far as I'm concerned, has a couple little things like, you know, fixing the thing that broke actually 30 seconds after I got on the bus. This is why you don't hand sew at midnight. But another day, another project done, and by God, I'm happy with how this came out. And if you want to try Merit out today, don't forget to click the link down in my description to receive 15% off of my custom bundle. Until next time, friends, we sewed in chaos and by God we won. I'll see you next time. Bye.
I'm covered in toilet paper bits.
I'm so putting that in the outro if that even showed up. Oh my God. You're welcome.